Cycle Rogue is an archetype that used to be really popular in the previous set, but it's got a new shines in the new expansion that's just come out. The idea behind the deck is to cycle through your cards really quickly and then be able to have a Playhouse Giant turn really early in the game to overwhelm your opponent. Generally, if you're getting your draws at specific hits and specific times, you'll be able to get the Playhouse Giants out around turn 4 or 5, which in general is going to be too much for your opponent to be able to deal with, unless they have AoE board clears. The Cycle Rogue that I'm using is the one that's more focused on the agency espionage, but there is also another Cycle Rogue which does seem quite interesting that uses Insidious and the asteroid minions as well to be able to deal damage to your opponent, so similar to the old Cycle Rogue of the past. The idea behind this deck is you're going to mulligan for things such as Twisted Weaver, the spider. You're going to mulligan for the Eat the Imp. You're also looking for the Living Flame, because Living Flame helps you with your drawing into your Eat the Imp as well, because that also allows you to get a lot of cards. Wisp is quite useful for Eat the Imp because you're able to get the extra value from it. And a card that I like keeping quite often also is the Phoenix, because once you get the turn where you're able to play down the 4 cards, you're able to just keep cycling through that card, and it's a free card to be able to get. And the combos that you can do with it is you can have the Weaver, and then you can use things such as Backstab on it, and then play it down for free again, draw another card, so it helps you cycle through those cards really quickly. Going into the gameplay that I am playing against this Imbue Druid, so although it's had its nerf, it still is a relatively decent, strong archetype. The thing that's different between this and currently is that it's the hero power with the sing-along buddy is a bit weaker, but also the 1 mana spell also is a bit different too. So in general, I am playing against the more difficult version of this deck, but luckily for me as well, they did make their board they went really wide with their board, and all the minions with it are quite weak too. So I am just playing to that sort of out that's there. I did fortunately get into my Phoenix this turn as well, so you'll notice I use my Backstab on it to allow me to then draw some more cards, because I am then getting the 2 coming from the Twisted Web Spinners. I then also get the Phoenix back down onto the board to draw some more cards, so I'm drawing 2 more, and I also have the Glacial Shard here as well. I get the Giants down because it is now turn 4, and that's obviously a very strong play that's there. And then I'm going to use the Shadow Step onto my Spider to be able to get it back into my hand, just in case I do need to draw some extra cards in future turns. Something that is important as well is you're keeping an eye on your amount of cards in your hand, because you don't want them to make you mill the Phoenix, because it does return to your hand, but if it ends up dying when you've got a full hand, you obviously don't get to keep it, and it is a very important card for this deck. Just being able to constantly have a 2/2s on the board is quite powerful. They end up using their hero power again. I'm not really sure why they're using their hero power when they've only got the 3 costs. Like, they did get quite a bad draw. I do obviously in this situation want to take out the sing-along buddy too. I play down the espionage to be able to get some more cards. My Phoenix is now 1, and then the other one will be free. So I get that down onto the board as well. It allows me to draw another card. Unfortunately, it's just a Wisp. Wisp is free though, so since I've already played one this turn, I am able to use it to deal with them. And then I just go face with my other cards. There's not really any point trading, because Sing-Along Buddy usually you would want to trade into, but because of the fact that they don't have very many, the golems that they're summoning aren't very big, there's not really any point to trade into it because it's not really doing anything. They then use their location to be able to draw a card and get some extra mana, which that card is a lot stronger. Like, that's a really important card for them in this set. And in general, you'll find that that card is one of the most important cards in Imbue Druid now, because of the fact that it gets you card advantage. It allows you to get extra mana, so you can use it similar to how you use the how you use the 2 mana spell to get extra mana. Like, it is quite powerful in that way. They do have a 5/6 on the board. They end up trading their sing-along buddy as well, so they're not really gaining too much from that. The jettison is fine. Like, it's not that great, it's not that good. It's just a card. I did choose the stealth just because it might be beneficial for me, and then I used Dubious Purchase. It doesn't hit anything too important for them, so yeah, it's not really anything that I care too much about. I also used the Amphibian Spirit as well, which did end up being a little bit of a misplay. Like, I should have probably traded the Wisp first and then used it onto one of my 2/2s to make sure that it would have traded well. I play down my 6/6 back down onto the board. I get the Demon Hunter card as well, which is good. It's when you're using this deck, you are a little bit hopeful that your cards that you get are relatively decent. Since they are only 1 mana, you can get quite a lot of card advantage and quite a lot of advantage if you are able to get them out for really cheap onto your opponent. But something that is also quite important with it is that you do want to make sure that you're thinking about your solutions beforehand. I am up to 10 mana as well, 10 cards in my hand as well, so if they did take out my Phoenixes, I obviously wouldn't have them in future turns. But something that is also quite fine for me in this situation as well is that it's getting towards the end of the game, so although I did lose a Phoenix like that, and I also lost probably the better one of my taunt cards, I am able to come back a little bit from that. I used the Paladin weapon to get my minions even stronger, and because of the situation I'm currently in, I am sitting relatively healthy. My health total is quite good. I do have a Dubious Purchase here. I don't really want to use it at the moment because that 7/6 is going to die anyway. I do use my Stealth minion to be able to get it onto the board, and then I play down the Phoenix again. It does allow me to draw extra cards, but also with that, I'm able to get the extra buff coming from it. So the 4/4 on the board means that I am in a relatively decent position. They end up getting their Malroan, so it does mean that they, with their Wild God, they could potentially get something quite strong against me. Because if they get something like the Tortilla, it does mean that they will have a wall against me, and my Dubious Purchase, although it can clear it, it needs to be able to clear quite a lot. So they did unfortunately end up getting that. I don't really know about them using that Ysera Awakens, like it feels a bit questionable. Obviously it did clear my board, but it put them down to 4 health, so they are in quite a bad situation. Using Living Roots there is good for them because it allows them to get extra minions on the board to avoid Dubious Purchase. I do have another Espionage in my hand as well, so I do just play that down. And it does mean that I get extra cards for my hand, and Sleep with the Fishes is a fantastic draw for me, so I use the draw 2, and then I also can get extra mana coming from it as well for the mana crystals, because I do have a lot of 1 costs. And I did get a very good card as well, so Ursoc will be able to trade quite well into their board, or into the board that's here. It means that it also does a full clear too. And then I can use Dubious Purchase to be able to take out the Tortilla, so I don't need to worry about that. I play down the Phoenix here because it just is a good card to be onto the field. And I template out the 3/3. It just gets me extra value for it, and I do want to make sure that I'm not overdrawing anything like that. I use my hero power to trade into face. I play the shield slam, I believe, just into one of my minions, just to make sure that I'm not overdrawing too badly, and then pass over to them. So they're now in a pretty difficult situation because that usually the Druid won't have any board clears, so they are using their 9 mana minion now to try and clear. And in general, you do get board clears with it, similar to how Yogg used to be. But you'll also find that there's times where it just AoEs and then kills yourself with it. So they at the moment they have gotten pretty good hits with it. They've gotten a draw card, they've gotten a damage, but then unfortunately for them they end up getting a Hellfire, which obviously makes them lose since they're only on 3 health. So like it in general gets good value, but I do find that card's quite iffy when you do play it. Going into the next game, I am once again playing against another Druid. The cards that I'm looking for in this matchup once again is I'm looking for Living Flame, I'm looking for the Web Spinner, I'm also looking for the Prize Vendor, and then their Phoenix, because in general those cards are going to be the ones that you'll want to be using. Dig for Treasure is decent because it allows you to cycle more to get more of your giants. I did keep it in this match, but when I've been playing more, because this was obviously before the nerfs, I do find that the Dig for Treasure isn't that great, simply because not only is it not a guaranteed card, but it also, if you draw into stuff that's not useful, it means that you're not going to be in a great situation in the future turns, because Eat the Imp in general is going to be one of the main cards that you'll be wanting, and with Dig for Treasure, it's not likely that you're going to be able to get those important cards into your hand. As you can see with the Dig for Treasure that I have here, I do have a Dubious Purchase, but that's pretty much the only thing that I do have going for me. Because the Shadow Step's not going to do anything right now. I don't have anything particularly great. I did get the Mask as well, which is good. So I had to use the Shadow Step. I had to use the coin and the Dubious Purchase there to make sure that I was cycling more into my cards. I did get the Weaver, which is quite good now, but I do want to go for the Wisp and then Eat the Imp play, just simply because it allows me to get most cards that I can. The Eat the Imp does draw 3 cards, so I need to make sure that my hand's going to be empty enough to be able to do that. So I play down the Glacial Shard, then I use the Wisp and then use Eat the Imp. And it's quite likely that I'll just be playing down an extra card just to be making sure that I get the correct value coming from it. I do play down the 2-1, and then I just hold for the rest of this turn, because with the Backstab I can use that onto my Phoenix, so that's the reason why I didn't play it onto the 4-4. Like, I don't really mind if I'm trading into this 4-4 with the Divine Shield, because obviously once again it does mean that I can get extra Phoenixes coming down onto the board. They end up using the 2-mana spell, so that's fine. It obviously gets them a little bit extra value. They also use Living Roots, so it is making sure that I'm not able to trade very well into them. So they're looking at making sure that I can't trade especially well. I play down the Weaver here, and I end up using the Backstab, I believe, on the 4-4. Yeah, so I ended up deciding to use the Backstab because I did draw into the other Phoenix. And then I trade both of my 2 damage minions in. I used the Prep just to be able to get the Phoenix down for a lower cost. And it is quite likely that I am going to be using the Espionage this turn as well. I didn't end up getting the Espionage, but I obviously cycled through a lot more cards that are here. I used the Shadow Step on the Prize Vendor to be able to access more cards too. And then I used the Backstab onto the... I did end up making a mistake there, so I should have used the Dubious Purchase instead of using the Shadow Step to start with, because I would have been able to guarantee the kill on one of those minions and then also get the extra draws. I did get the Prize Vendor here as well, so I do play down both my giants as well just to get everything down that I can, and then I end up using the Dubious Purchase to be able to cycle through some more cards. So as you can see, that was my turn 5, so with their board being completely empty, they're not in a great situation to be able to deal with this, because in general, Imbue Druid, it's quite weak when it's playing from behind like this. They did take out my Phoenix, but that's not really going to do too much. And then they use the Charred minion to be able to make it so I don't have any extra draws coming from the deck. I do play down the Espionage here just to get the extra value coming, and then use the Glacial Shard to make sure that I'm getting rid of the possibility of them using a minion onto me. And then I use that Shaman card that's here as well, so it means that I've got quite a strong board, and they end up conceding. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please like and subscribe, and bye for now.